Hello. Hello, and welcome to another week of Reclaimers. This week we are continuing our game of our mod of the new game, Castles in the Air, Sandcastles in the Air, Sandcastles in
The
the
fog.
clouds, the
The fog.
fog. There we go. Sandcastles in the fog. Um, so we're going to be continuing that game today, but before we actually get into it, I'm actually first have everybody introduced who they are. Give us your name, your pronouns, what you do, and the character you're playing, starting with Inda.
Enda, she, her pronouns. I am a writer and podcaster. I have a podcast called Black Girl Squeak, and I have some music playlist over on Mixcloud. And I am playing Rosemarie O'Neill, also she, her 13-year-old bookworm.
Alrighty. And JP.
Hello, I'm JP Fairfield. You can find me at my card, so all the social media and stuff, jpfairfield.carr.co. And also I am on a podcast with 5 other Black women, one of them being D, called Nagasso Noir Network. We also have a card, nagasonoir.carrd.co. That's NERDGASMNOIRE. And I play Esther James. We both use she, her pronouns.
And Diana.
Hello, everybody. I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Diana Moon, or on YouTube and Twitch at xDianaMoonX. I don't think I'm doing anything specific in the next week or so. I am the facilitator, but I'm also playing a character, Matthias Matty Diez, he, him. And I just want to note that if you do the Kickstarter, we're only 500 Australian dollars away from the next stretch goal, which is 2 more relationships. Yes, 2 extra relationships that we have don't have access to yet. So go ahead and check everything out there. But that's me.
And Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris. He, him pronouns. I'm playing Mark Sui, the child of the printing press owners. So kind of the fix-it nerd kid who wants to also make books.
And of course, my name is Deanna Jones. I am a writer and a podcaster. You can find everywhere I'm at on social media on my card, nanicoolj.carrd.co, she, they pronouns. And the character that I am playing is Minnie Mae. She uses she, her pronouns, and she is very fantastical. She's excited about seeing the world, even though she's only been to like 4 places in her entire life.
Sorry, I'm just always paranoid if I'm muted or not. So as we were doing I almost said last year. Last week, we learned how to play baseball, sort of. Esther may. I feel like it was a win. We didn't hate baseball at the end necessarily, just hate getting dirty. That's all. Esther found out that she might have a thing for being on stage, like the adults get to be. Mark might have found that he might be a little bit too perfectionist while looking over Minnie Mae's work. Rosemarie is having a hell of a time reading things she shouldn't be reading, but luckily she doesn't understand the language that she's reading them in. And what was Matty up to? I legit don't remember what my own character was up to besides just not wanting to get dirty and just, yeah, wrote home to the family back in Guatemala and everything. And what we're setting up next now is the next novel chapter, which is the guidance chapter. So we kind of set it up that last week that there was a Conservatory of Flowers pre-building party to get more funding and everything to build it, because it's still about a year or 2 away from that actually being built and open in Golden Gate Park, what is now known as Golden Gate Park. And people got into some trouble. Some kids got into some trouble. Let me get to the right tab. uh, so this is what we're planning to have for our novel guidance chapter. Right, there we go. Mark and Eula May witnessed the drunkenness that accidentally happened. Matty and Eula May, because Matty accidentally got drunk because they thought they were big kid. Yeah, this is great. Drink. Basically the Sailor Moon scene in the first season where she had some bubbly and just immediately passed out. Then we are also going to have a Minnie and Dr. Marsh scene regarding poison ivy, because some kids want to go and play in, like, you know, the poisonous section that hasn't. Why they were already testing the poisonous plants for something that's not going to happen yet, who knows? Adults are weird. And then lastly, Esther and Mama Diez for jumping around the constructions and getting hurt and such. So, as it is with any novel chapter, who would like to go first?
Should we deal with the alcohol? Should we deal with the drunken scene first, I guess?
Right.
I think we wanted it where it was like all three of us, right? Was the tentative.
Right. And who was it that was chewing everyone out?
Eula May Smith, Minnie's older sister.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a case of like Mark, you like are trying to lug Matty and get caught by the sister running around, or
I think it's one of those situations where let's make it a little more ridiculous. Was it that everyone was having drinks, they gave it to the kids, or were there bad kids who snuck some drinks away and were giving it to other kids?
I think we said bad kids.
Because if it's that, I could totally see how Mark gets involved, because they're probably like, hey, you know, like they have something that's like the equivalent of like one of those coffee dispensers, right? But it's like they filled it up with liquor. Mark, we can't get this open. You know machines. Oh yeah, here. Like, you
these
know,
newfangled machines,
right? And
yeah.
then when you know, then when they get caught, they scatter, and we're left there like,
Yeah. Manny was like, I'm gonna do what the cool kids do. Of course, I've had this champagne before. What are you talking about?
Anya.
So yeah. Then JP, would you like to start us off with what was Eula May up to before she encounters these kids?
I think of course there is always a nosy neighbor type figure who was gossiping, talking about, I can't believe those kids are over there getting the drunk. And so Eula's like, oh, let me go over there before Miss Olivia, I'm just gonna say Miss Olivia, gets everybody all riled up for nothing. Because you know, she tends to embellish stuff. So Eula May is just thinking, oh, they're probably like drinking some juice or jumping off into things, and like Miss Olivia is just making out that they getting drunk or something. So she go over there. So she expecting to see the same, you know, couple of kids that are a little bit older, but usually they're pretty good kids. And you just need to tell them, hey, Miss Olivia is, you know, y'all better get skedaddle before she grabs your parents. And then she sees Mark trying to drag Matty, and she's like, wait, I know those two kids. So I think she just kind of paused with a hand on her hips, and she's like, Mark, is that you over there?
I think it's the look around and try to keep going. Like I can hear.
Mark, I can see you. You can't hide. Come on out.
I'll come out, but like I'm having a hard time like trying to like get him going along. And I'll be like, he's feeling sick. We're gonna go to the water closet.
So, fun fact: the tune of La Cucaracha has been around since the 1860s. The way we know it as is from the 1910s, but it's been around from the 1860s, with different lyrics and meanings. It is not a song kids should know, by the way. But Mark is like, or Maddie's just like, da 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 da. Hi, Minnie Mae.
Okay, Maddie, blow your breath. Blow your breath. Oh, okay. So what have y'all been drinking?
The
Some of the other kids.
champagne.
Champagne. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, Jesus, give me the strength. Okay. All right. Mark, let me go ahead and get Maddie, but hear me and hear me now. If I see y'all two even looking at a bottle of anything, a cup of anything, or a little timble anything, trust me, I will have your hides and I will tell your mamas and your daddies and they will have your hides too. Understand?
They had a coffee percolator, like a
No.
big one. I thought,
Oh, my dear sweet Mark, they
We
did
give
not have,
coffee all the time as kids.
yes, but did that look like coffee
No,
you was drinking?
tasted a little
Okay,
better
then it
though.
wasn't coffee, it was alcohol. And
Bubbly.
you know, alcohol is not for y'all at y'all age.
But I'm an adult.
No, you're not, Maddie. And I wish,
I'm doing the like pinch of the ribs to Maddie, like
Ah,
what are you
ah.
doing? Like
Maddie, you gonna wish when you adult that you took this chance to be a kid. So now I'm gonna try to take it easy on you, but if you keep talking, your jail time is gonna be even more. With probably gonna be grounded. I don't know how long, because
Kids
I
can't
don't
go
know
to.
how long your parents.
If I'm a kid, I can't go to jail then. So I'm an
another
adult. I'm a
pinch.
kid. Ow!
So you just see
Mark,
Eula May, just
Mark
like
is
you can
hurting
see like
me.
her fuming. So she takes Maddie by the ear. Come on, Maddie, let's go. We going to your parents. Come on, Mark, you too.
Head hang, dragging footsteps.
Now tell me why y'all decide to go drinking out of stuff from where. Did you know those kids that was with the coffee? The
They
coffee?
they said it was. They said they couldn't get to work, and I was gonna fix it, and then I got fixed, and it started spraying everywhere. And they said they said the only way to fix it is just they had to drink it really fast.
Mm, where are they now? They're still back over there?
No, they ran.
And you didn't wonder why they suddenly ran?
I mean, the machine was spraying more. I thought I had to fix it.
Mm.
They ran because they
Okay,
couldn't
Mama.
handle it. I could handle it.
See,
I'm worldly.
like,
Well, let's hope you're gonna handle the hide that's gonna be gone when your parents find out what you did.
And they have a look
So
like
look,
they're not used to actually, like, getting hot, like tanned and everything, because that's what makes them the prince. And they're like, if they're gonna give me a hide, then I'll have Minnie Mae sew it up.
do you know what a yardstick is?
I think I feel like at this moment, Eula May is really trying not to laugh because this is a serious thing. But Maddie is so out of it that she's like, "Ah, you know what? Okay, I won't make a deal with y'all two. Mark, you'll probably be the only one that actually will get this. So I hope you could take your friend Maddie and make sure y'all stay out of trouble, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring y'all over to my place. We're gonna wait till he sobers up, and then y'all will go to your parents' house. But if I even see that y'all being mischievous again, I will report to your parents. Understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, senora.
All right. So let's drag Maddie on and hope we don't see anybody who's gonna double time to your parents.
Can we take a train?
Unfortunately, we is not gonna take a train right now, but you just gonna sit in my house and you're gonna sleep this off a little bit. I'll call your parents and tell them that you just maybe staying over, coming to visit. You too, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, you gonna get your first taste of doghood when you get that hangover now.
Can I hang over Mark? And they'll try to like lean and like let's make
Oh,
a
come on, you're
choo-choo.
too heavy.
I think right now, I think Eula May does laugh. She's like, "Oh man, you gonna be, oh, okay, come on, Maddie," and she just kind of lifts him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just
Looking like those old Looney Tune cartoons when the drunk person's like feet are just sliding across the floor.
Exactly. And actually, I will use this time as we close this scene off to throw a monologue token at you, Chris. What is Mark's thoughts as you're being led to Eula May's place?
Mark is definitely thinking his main thing, he's like, oh man, those kids really got me in some trouble here, right? If my parents find out, like, because of where we work at, we know exactly how big a yardstick is because we're using it all the time. But he's made some mistakes before. He knows a yard exactly very well. He's like, yeah. Like, and he's also just thinking like, oh, Maddie, come on. Like he's sitting there thinking like, I thought you knew better. Like
Matty has never gotten in trouble a day in his life.
It's
that's why
definitely
Mark.
the
That's why
spoiled
Mark
kid.
is like, you have to
Yeah.
know better. You're the good. You never get in trouble. Like
It's definitely like the spoiled kid who's never been in trouble, and then the kid who basically understands how to stay out of trouble, being like, "Why are you so bad at this?"
great.
I mean, technically,
Oh,
Matty
that's
also
smart.
has not gotten in trouble yet because he's
It-
getting. We're going to sleep it off.
Oh my
It's all
god! I
coming
can
up,
just
Maddie.
imagine Mark's face.
it's also just 1 year, but Mark is like, you're older than me. You've never gotten into trouble. How are you not?
Excellent. I think that's a great first bosom scene or guidance scene. For Eula May. Eula May and I think like Jesse Sweet need to like have a conversation about these kids. Like just like damn these kids. Excellent. So I'll delete those off.
Look, they probably gonna need a good stiff drink talking about these kids, cause uh,
Exactly.
like they are a handful.
They're at the coffee percolator champagne thing, being like, "Oh my gosh."
Exactly. All right. Do we want to do just go down the line and do Minnie Mae and Dr. Marsh?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. So is it a case that Minnie Mae goes on her own to see the doctor?
I think what it is Minnie Mae is walking around looking at all, like, I think she wandered into the poisonous plants exhibit and wasn't really paying attention to the fact that it was poisonous plants. And so like she got into like poison ivy and went to like sniff it and was like, this doesn't, what are these weird leaves, blah, blah, blah. And then like she's starting to itch. And then like as she's leaving, I think she or bumps into Dr. March, and she's just like scratching, being like, oh God, this is so, why am I so itchy?
Looks like you ran into a bit of ivy there, hon.
A bit of ivy? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, you don't know what poison ivy looks like? What do they teach you in school these days?
Mostly cooking and sewing and math a little bit, but that's hard. Except when you're talking about like measuring things, that makes more sense. And then sometimes they make us read these long books that
While
I
she's
think are
talking, I'm like going and getting like ointment and stuff to put together.
completely oblivious. And I think the books are kind of interesting. But like, you know, a lot of them are just like here in America, which is okay. Like, I mean, all the stuff. Well, I don't even necessarily know they're true because I read all of this stuff about here in San Francisco, and it's just like okay. It's not anything like I read in the book. What's that? What are you doing?
Oh, it's fine. You're itching, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna make the itching stop.
How?
It's aloe. I'm gonna start explaining like what like anti-itching properties and stuff like that are, and
She
stuff like that.
understands none of it.
Okay.
So
She's
if I put it on me, it'll make everything stop itching.
yes.
Okay, and she just snatches it from you and starts to like rub it all on her arms. It's like,
You,
oh my
you
god,
only need to put it on the never mind.
it's oh my gosh, it's so cool. It feels super nice. So then it's just so I'm better now.
No, you just won't itch. You have then we're gonna start explaining to her like, the rash has to go away and like she's gonna have to take care of the rash, make sure nobody touches her, and all of that.
Well, how long is it gonna take?
It might be a couple of weeks, hon.
Weeks? I'm gonna
Yeah.
be itching like this for weeks.
Well, that's what the aloe is for.
I don't I don't like this.
Um, maybe a little bit of cocaine in it. I don't know.
I mean, I heard that helps with colds, so I mean, I guess it would work for skin itchy things.
Well, if it doesn't, you won't remember.
What?
Never mind. It's just a little doctor joke. Anyway, what were you doing in the poison exhibit?
I didn't even know I was in a poison exhibit. There were just some really interesting looking plants, and I kind of just followed the plants
Ugh,
until I
yeah,
got really itchy and gross.
yeah. I told them they shouldn't include that, and if they weren't going to be around to supervise and explain what everything is. But yeah, I said they don't teach you kids enough in school these days. But
I just said they teach us like cooking, sewing, and math a little bit, which is kind of boring. And then like these
while she's
long
doing that, she's going off and she's getting, some other stuff together.
these long books. And some of them are interesting and some of them aren't, even though I think the ones that are about here in America are kind of lies. Like they even have some books that have about stuff that happens in Louisiana, which is like interesting, but like I guess it's mostly in southern Louisiana. A lot of that stuff didn't really happen where I was from. Anyway,
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna start like putting like whatever the bandage thing. It's not, but just the wrap around, the
my arms are just wrapped in bandages.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you want to make sure you don't get that on anything because you don't want it to spread. But also, like I said, uh just a quick question because I am not a science person. There is some sort of treatment for poison ivy though, right? Besides,
Yeah.
okay, she's gonna have that. She's getting that treatment together. And well, if you want this to heal a lot faster than a couple of weeks, you can take this like so many times a day, and make sure you keep that up. And like I said, make sure you don't touch anybody. You don't let anybody touch you so you don't spread it. And make sure you don't wander into the poison plant exhibit again. They really should shut that down. I told them that was a bad idea, but hey, it's going to bring more business my way. I guess that's a good
Is it
thing.
gonna mess up my new dress?
Oh, you won't be wearing a new dress with that.
Okay. Well, thanks, I guess. She gets like really sad and dejected and like thanks you very profusely. And then it's just like, I don't know, I guess I'll go home.
Right. Come back when you're in childbirth.
What?
See ya.
I swear to God, Inda.
I'm so glad that you said that before I actually took a full sip. Because it would have been coffee all over my laptop right now.
Do you, do you think you
Why
got a
the
little
doc?
less naive?
Why the doctor's starting to sound like modern day medicine in some of these states? Oh, girl, you 14? Come back when you get a kid. I'll see you
Right?
next week. Wait, what?
Honestly, I would have said no until she hit me with the comeback during childbirth. I was like, wait, what? Hold on.
Look, she's a midwife.
Yeah.
She catches babies. Then she
She
likes
ca-
catching the babies.
I mean,
What she
think my
does with the
grandmother got
babies after she
married.
catches.
I mean, they
She
got
throws them
married
back.
early then, so
That's
my
true.
grandma
Yeah.
got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our last guidance chapter. I'm not sure how much guiding's been going on so far. Is with Esther and Mama Diez
Ooh.
with the jumping construction. So Esther, did you get hurt, or you just got caught?
Oh, I probably got caught jumping. Okay, now I remember. Okay, so the construction part, and you know how kids also always try to set up things where they could jump off stuff. So like there was like stuff that we made up as mats to fall into so we won't, hurt ourselves. So I'm literally like full on just diving off the construction, beams and stuff and onto like I guess what would be like mattress and bunch of cardboard or whatever
Mattresses,
they can find
springs
to
exposed.
yes. Yes. But we put cardboard over it, so you can't get hit by the springs if there's like wood and stuff over it.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, I think it's a situation where Mama Diaz is like looking for Maddie. And then hears the noise of like kids playing or a kid playing, and then comes over here and like sees you like mid jump and is like, as you're mid jump, just goes, "What are you doing?"
You just see me like jump up and I'm spread eagle like this with my hands, like I'm one of those flying squirrels.
Yeah, Mama Diaz comes up and like kind of gets you by the ear and goes, "What are you doing?"
Uh, um, how much did you see?
What do you mean, how much did I see? I just saw you jump off from up there onto a broken mattress. What are you doing?
I mean, since it's practicing my athletics.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you're going to lie, make sure the lie makes sense.
I mean, technically, I am.
Explain to me how.
I mean, okay, so it takes, if I go up there, like there's a certain like skill that it takes to jump off there and then land correctly onto that area right there. And I figure if I'm going to be in a theater and stuff, and they do have, or the circus could be fine. So if I'm practicing jumping off stuff, because they do that in the theater and in the circus and stuff and shows. So I'm just practicing.
So in the circus, they usually have something called the safety net, not a safety spring mattress with holes in it.
Well, I couldn't, well, nobody could, we don't got no net. So that's
So then maybe you shouldn't be jumping off of things, especially not here in a construction site where you can fall onto all manner of things, and end up getting tetanus. Do you want lockjaw? Because that's how you get lockjaw.
What's lockjaw?
I don't ask me. I'm not that real good at science. I just know if you get poked by something, you could get lockjaw. That's not the point. The point is, why are you jumping off of things? Don't jump
So I
off
start
of the
poking myself
construction
with my
stress.
finger.
No.
Am I getting lockjaw now?
No, you don't want to give yourself lockjaw. That's not good because then you can't eat and you die.
Oh, I like eating.
We all like eating.
But how am I gonna get lockjaw just from jumping on stuff?
Because there are sharp things here. And if you fall on a sharp thing that has tetanus on it, you're going to get tetanus.
But look, we put stuff down there so we won't fall on sharp stuff.
I think Mama Diez looks over and it's just a mattress with like several springs poking out of it. And she just goes, "Where's your mother?"
I mean, like right now, or like
Yes, right now.
well, I gather that she either is at the
Come with me. Come with me. We're
wait,
gonna go find.
I'm
Come with me.
just
Come with me, or I will tell your mother what you're doing without you being there, and then you'll definitely get in trouble.
okay.
And I think she like grabs you by the ear again and just walks off frustrated.
Tetanus now? I guess that's the end of the scene.
I would say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That
Unless you
works.
want me to actually go tell your mom.
No. I mean, do whatever feels right.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah. So that was the guidance novel chapter. Seemingly people semi got in trouble, but didn't get officially in trouble. Some saw the consequences.
The beginnings of trouble.
Yeah. And that leads us into bosom enemies again. So, as a reminder, let me. The bosom enemy phase takes place after each novel chapter and represents our struggles with our worst impulses. During this phase in childhood, players are only recording the results of these struggles, but once they become an adult, they will be held more responsible for the actions and potential consequences rear their heads. During each enemy Let me try that again. During each bosom enemy phase of childhood, you will assess your character's behavior in relation to their bosom enemy. Your character didn't struggle with them in the previous chapter and take some action in response to that. Frame a short story or vignette in which they do, and then record the results of your character's struggles with their bosom enemy. So I did not struggle nor confront it. I embraced my fickleness with the drinking and no consequences for me. So I definitely will have to have either a vignette or a scene of confronting my fickleness. So I'll think about that. What about everybody else?
Yeah, I don't think I got to confront my perfection, but I think my perfectionism is what got me in trouble. Because I hyperfixate on gotta fix the thing, right?
Yeah. And then you can have scenes that are related to what just happened if you think you can think of something to connect with that, or it can be a totally new problem that happens, or vignette that shows off like you confronting it.
So okay, I don't know in my scene I would consider myself impulsive.
You don't?
Okay.
Also, actually,
maybe in a way.
Did we have a? Did I just completely? And it could be I just completely blanked. Did we have a guidance scene with Rosemarie? No.
Oh, I don't think so.
Somehow there wasn't a Rosemarie line, so we need to do that real quick.
Yeah, we need. Yeah,
Rosemarie, who's your adult?
It doesn't have to be your adult, but that's always there for to use since.
Oh, I just remember somebody was gonna catch her reading.
Oh, reading stuff
Oh,
she's not supposed
Oh,
to be
Yeah.
reading.
reading. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I might have just forgotten to write it down last week then. Um.
Not Jessie. She's been through enough already.
Damn, I was about to say Jesse.
She's
Books
like, these
most
kids.
forbidding.
Look, Eula May has her hands full with two of these little scamps.
So
Do you
you can
want?
either,
Do you
Well,
want?
say Roy, that you're up.
yeah.
Yeah.
All these
Where-
older teens are traumatized by these little kids getting into shit.
Where are you? Where are you reading these at? Like, is it even more suspect?
She's kind of like some just a little bit away from the party. Like maybe she's found a room to be alone, at the party, like a broom closet or something.
Are these books you got from your house, or are these books you found?
From the house. I got them from my mom's library.
Okay, because I was gonna say I can come up with a more suspect situation if you
Wait, what was
found
the
them.
suspect? No. What was the suspect situation?
Well, I mean, this party got people of all kinds of ages. I'm sure there is some corner of wherever all this is happening that people have decided is the makeout section, and some people brought some books,
Oh, okay.
and they left the books outside the room. You're like, oh, books, cool. Like,
All right. Cool.
yeah. So, I don't think it would necessarily be it has to be somewhere where I might like run up on you, right? Like, I'm not going to be going through
Yeah.
closets, right? That doesn't really.
No, I just picked the book and I'm actually, you know what? I'm just going through this book, whatever French tutoring I had, I'm trying to make out words and stuff, and I'm just
Are
wandering
you saying the
obliviously.
words that I'm like coming up? Hey, wait a minute. What do you
I
say?
feel like it would make more sense that if it was a makeout place and Roy is a teenager, that he was going to make out with a girl or whoever.
No. Roy catches you on his way out.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Yeah.
actually doesn't even notice because she's trying to
Yeah, it's
she's trying
probably
to
a thing. Like,
translate.
he's walking along. He's like probably thinking, "Oh, I need to go wash up. I've got some marks on. And he like looks, and he's probably like, Rosemarie, what are you doing here?
I look up, see it's Roy, and I just kind of like try to put the book behind my back. Nothing. How about you?
What's that
How you
book?
doing?
What's that book?
Just found it. It was outside on the table here, and it was a book there, so figured I could read
It's
it.
gonna be. He's gonna flip through it and flip through a couple. And he's gonna look up at you. He's like, "You can read French?"
A little. I mean, I'm supposed to be getting a French tutor soon, and well, since I thought it might be a good idea to get a jump on, things.
And he's gonna look at the book. He's gonna look at you, and he's gonna be like, "Do you know what this title says?"
Something about the planet Venus wearing a fur. I don't know.
Slow close, puts it back over the table, slides it
And
over.
I'm just looking at him. I'm looking at that book like, what's the book?
This is something for later, not now. How about we?
But why can't I
about-
read it now? It's a book.
But you can't even read French yet.
But I could start. I mean, won't the French tutor be impressed with me if I already have some French?
They have some books on the botanical gardens that they're opening up here. Those are actually in English, and some of those have Latin. You could learn some Latin, and that will help you with your French, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Latin and French aren't the same thing, are they?
No, but you learn a little of one, you can learn a little of the other.
Yeah, but that book looked like it might be actually fun.
It's older fun
Why can't I have older fun?
because you're not older yet.
I'll be older someday.
Yeah, and that's when you'll have a good time with the book. You'll know French then too, and you'll have a lot of fun with it.
I'm just kind of sitting there pouting, like, but I just wanted to read the book.
I know, but this is not really the place for you to hang out. People get the wrong idea.
Why would they get the wrong idea about a book?
Well, he says this. He kind of brings his collar down.
And I'm just not really paying attention. I just really want to know why I cannot read this book.
It's you know how some of the shows you can't go to?
Well, I don't want to go to those shows. I want to
Okay.
read.
Well, some books are like those shows. They're not for kids.
I'm not a kid. I'm 13.
Are you working yet?
Well, no, because I don't have to. Daddy
Okay,
doesn't
so you're
said I
still
didn't
a
have
kid.
to.
You're still a kid. It's cool. Come on. Let's go look at the botanical books.
Oh, I'm just gonna.
I can talk to the doctor. Maybe get some cream.
Yeah, you look like you may have run into some poison ivy there.
Yeah, little bruises. Yeah.
Like, shuffle along, child.
So I'm just gonna be like, chatting. So tell me about Latin.
We need to have a whole side story with these 3 teenagers.
They definitely have a
Jesse,
support group.
Eula, Jesse, and Roy for some they're smoking, and you're just like, oh, I get it.
You know what this girl was Do you know what this girl was reading? Oh my God.
Wait, how does Roy know? How does Roy read French?
I could imagine how, even though it's not so much over here, but I could imagine how some of the native folks might have picked up French.
Yeah.
Fur traders and stuff.
Yeah.
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 But that would also explain why her family has, French language and stuff. Because they're pretty well off their new money. Of course, they got to try to have their daughter be, cultured.
Right. So you probably learned piano, learned a little bit of violin, but they haven't gotten you to the French yet. Like,
Okay.
Excellent. I have to remember to not use regular Google with the stupid AI.
God.
I just can't.
Irritating. Oh my God. And
There's a website you
DuckDuckGo
could
is
use.
doing it. Oh,
DuckDuckGo is doing it also. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. But yeah, there is yeah, and it might be just a little ahead on the French invasion of San Francisco, but it happened in about the 1890s is when like a whole bunch of immigrants came in. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like definitely a trickle of them because they might have come in with the Spanish priests.
Yeah.
And everything. So I just know Russian came from the north a lot, so that's why we have like Russian Hill, and then we do have a big Russian population. So the French definitely enough around to be like, huh. So that would make sense. Like this is the new wave of culture, and will lead into the fact that in 1902, before the earthquake, that's when people were trying to state San Francisco as the Paris of the West, and that's how San Francisco got that name. So yeah. All right, so now officially we're back into bosom enemy territory. I'm still thinking of my scene. Mark still needs a scene. What about Minnie Mae?
I think Minnie Mae did I don't think she reacted to it positively though. I think she reacted to it negatively because it's very much a situation where like it never occurred to her that it's not that she doesn't know that plants can be poisonous. It never occurred to her that being in this like botanical garden, she would be around a poisonous plant.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's reacting negatively to it because it messed up her new dress and she's got to be bandaged up for a week and it's itchy and it sucks. And then all of a sudden there was that weird thing at the end about babies. She's just not, she's not having a great time with it.
Okay. So it would be more like, possibly, like an aftermath scene of like, yeah, like if you wanted to learn more about like why you got to be up in bandages, like, kind of thing. And whether or not you want to confront it more so or respond to it or just like let it be and it just be a scene of you laid up for a week.
Well, can I make a suggestion? There's a way in which maybe we can cross over these other required scenes. Because since clearly Mark and Maddie stayed over at the Smith's house, right? Maybe Mark's dealing with perfectionism is late that night. You catch him taking apart and putting back together the coffee, the like coffee percolator, right? Because he's like, no, I need to know how this works, right? Like, and
Yeah.
Minnie Mae is probably like, hey, why are you up?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, like she gets up to go, like she's itching again, so she's getting up to go put like the cream on or whatever, and she sees Mark out there and she's just like, "What? Why? What are you doing?"
oh, I'm just learning how this works. Though I had to try to fix one of these. I didn't know how they work, so I'm gonna try and learn how they work.
What?
Because then next time someone asks me to fix it, I can fix it and then not get in trouble.
What? You got in trouble for not fixing it?
Yeah, well, it's the bad kids. The bad kids, they put they put alcohol in the machine, but I didn't know they put alcohol in the machine, and they had me fix it, and then it sprayed alcohol everywhere, and then yeah, it wasn't good. Why are your arms bandaged again?
I got into some very poisonous plants, so now I'm all itchy and junk. So I have to keep going back to the doctor to get like creams and stuff for it. You think you got in trouble because you didn't fix the machine though?
Right, because if I fixed the machine, they wouldn't have had everyone try to drink so much, and Maddie wouldn't have, tried to drink it, and you know, I wouldn't be in trouble for watching Maddie drink.
I don't. Well, I don't think that's why you're in trouble. Matty got drunk.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that explains why he was walking around with a headache.
it was spraying a lot. So they tried to drink a lot because I wasn't fixing it right. So I'm gonna figure out how this works so it won't happen again.
I don't I don't think you got in trouble because it was spraying. I think you got in trouble because there was alcohol in it.
But I mean, if I know how it works, I know how to know if it's alcohol without spraying it everywhere.
I can't argue with that particular logic.
How
So,
are your arms doing? It's so bad you can't sleep?
yeah, like if I put the cream and stuff on it, it's fine. But um it's fine for a while and then it starts to itch again, and so I'm supposed to put more, but like I'm starting to run out, so I'm gonna have to go see Dr. Marsh soon. But I kind of don't want to go see Dr. Marsh because she said something about babies, and I really, really hope this isn't how you get babies.
From the plants?
Yeah,
Poisonous plants give you babies?
I don't,
That
I
don't sound
didn't
that
think
don't sound
so.
right. That don't
I
sound
didn't
right.
think so, but the way that she said it, it feels kind of like it is.
Maybe there's more than one way to get babies. Oh my God.
There's other ways to get babies.
I mean, I never heard of plants before.
I don't want to ask because now I feel dumb because I'm older than you and I should know better. Why do you know where babies come from?
I mean, I overheard my sister talking about. I mean, I didn't hear the details, but she said she's always worried about some people and other people having babies and getting babies. And it's not now that you mention it, it does sound like people catch it like they would the influenza. Huh. But no one's well, wait, they do stay home after a while. So maybe babies are a bit like a sickness. But is that like good? I know people feel bad afterwards, but people celebrate, so I'm confused.
Oh, that's why Dr. Marsh said I can't use that dress anymore.
It's got babies on it?
If I keep wearing it, I'll have babies.
Huh. Well, shouldn't you go give it to someone who wants babies then? I mean, that's the way I think it should work, right?
Who want, who do we
I mean,
know that
some people
wants
want babies.
babies? I don't know. Maybe I'll ask Jesse.
Poor
Maybe
Jessie.
I'll ask Jesse. Jesse will know. I can't ask Eula. She'll get mad at me.
I already grabbed my ears. Like
I can't ask Eula, she'll get mad at me. I don't want to ask Roy.
Well, okay. Do you want me to run over sometimes and grab the cream for you so you don't have to worry about plant baby things?
Well, no, because I'm assuming that the cream is keeping me from having the baby, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just don't want to go over there, when I head over that way, I can grab it for you.
Oh, that would be nice.
I mean, I'll have to tell her I'm getting it for you because I don't want her to think that I might be catching the babies too. Huh. If men don't catch babies, is it because are we immune? No, we can't be immune to poison. There's too many stories where people get poisoned anyway, so that doesn't
Well,
make sense.
maybe you're just immune to the poison that makes babies.
Huh.
I am going to throw a facilitator token for Minnie Mae's mother to come out and be like, "What's going on around here? You
It
kids
would
should
have to be
in bed."
Eula because it's just Minnie and Eula together.
Oh, that's right. For I'll give this token then to you, JP, to show up and this craziness.
I think you and May got up to get some water and stuff, and she probably did y'all turn the light on while y'all was talking, or
We
yeah.
would probably have like either a candle or a lantern, like
We're just in there whispering to each other in the dark.
well, I'm trying to fix this. Like,
okay, so I think she notices the light and she just kind of mumbles to herself, okay, what are these kids doing now? So she goes over, she opens the door. Y'all having trouble sleeping?
oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to learn the coffee maker, but I didn't want to use it when you guys were using it because I'm sure you want your coffee.
Did you just tear apart my coffee maker?
Yeah, you see, it's already halfway together. It won't take me much longer.
Now, Mark Sue, why did she tear apart my only source of coffee without asking permission?
I I'm just learning how it works, and I'm putting it back together. I even cleaned it. See, you gotta keep the machines clean or they don't work well.
Yeah, but what if you put it? What if you don't put it back completely correctly, Mark?
Oh,
And
but
also, that's
that's
not
what
your coffee maker.
I think what Minnie Mae is doing is Minnie Mae sees this conversation happening and is kind of just trying to like very quietly and slowly grab her medicine and just kind of like back into the shadow.
ninja
Hopefully
style.
get out of the room.
Unfortunately, because Eula May is seen at the corner of her eye, Minnie, you stay
Yes.
right there.
I was just getting cream for my arms because I'm itchy.
Okay, you never explain why you so itchy right now.
I got into some poisonous plants, but not the kind that give
Yeah.
you babies, hopefully.
There is no plants that give you babies, Minnie. Where did you get that from?
I don't know. Dr. Marsh said so. I went to Dr. Marsh because I was itchy and she gave me this cream and she said it'll make me feel better and she told me to come back when I'm having babies. So I just assumed that
Oh,
that this is what happens.
oh Lord, Dr. March. So Yulme kind of like gets down and like kind of gets down a little bit on her knees. So she's like eye level with Minnie. She's like, darling, I'm not gonna get pregnant from plants. That's not how it works.
Okay. It's good to know.
Mark, I hope you don't think it comes from plants either, because oh dear God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe you should ask your parents about I guess the birds and the bees.
Don't birds and bees deal with plants too?
Oh my God. It's
Oh,
like
They build a
how
nest
Lord.
out of plants, and then the bees go to the plants.
I
so
think Eula may just start cracking up. She's she's like, oh, sweetie, oh, you know what? Keep that innocence. But you're not touching plants, getting poison ivy on you is not gonna help you have babies, okay?
thank God.
There's yeah, so don't worry about that. But anyway, why were y'all up? Other than tearing apart my source of coffee and you getting the itches.
That was mainly it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, look, it's almost together now.
You better hope it works, Mark.
Well, that's why I got up, so I had time.
Okay, but next time, if you need to tear anything apart in my house, ask first.
Okay, I'm sorry. He was like, you hear a little squeak as he gets it completely together. It's been completely shined up, like it's the
Now,
OCD
Minnie,
level of cleaning, right? Like,
so she just shakes her head at that. She's like, now, Minnie, do you want me to help you get the cream on?
Oh, please. No,
Okay,
no, no. Dr. Marsh says that it's contagious. You might also get the itchies. So maybe no.
that's okay. I'm gonna use a cloth, so it won't be skin to skin talk contact. But we gonna have to wash your arm first, and then we can apply. Then you can apply the cream, and I'll
Okay.
put a bandage on you, nice and snug.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mark, are you finished fixing?
yeah, it's good as new.
Okay. So, do you got any other questions about plants and babies? And she's like, you can hear her mama, her breath. Please, God, please don't have any questions.
I think Minnie was gonna ask a question about babies, but then kind of heard them under the breath, and it's just like, nah, I'm gonna let that go for now.
I think the scene ends with Mark going, "Wait, I thought I heard my sister say something about a tumble in the grass and babies." I think the scene just ends like.
See, you'll amaze eyes just go big, like
Excellent, I think. Um, all right, so you guys got to determine whether you dealt with your bosom enemy positively or negatively, and then mark on either side, or both if you think you did technically both, and then write a little sentence about it like we did last time. For you, Esther, do you have an idea of what your bosom enemy scene might be, or vignette?
okay. I feel like this scene is gonna end up being bigger because well, not bigger, it's gonna be more people because I think because Esther is neighbors with Minnie Mae. I think she's a little irritated because everybody got to go over there except her, not
Oh,
knowing that everybody got in trouble. Well, at least the circumstances why Mark and Matty are over there. She gonna think like, why I didn't get invited. So I think what's gonna happen is uh you kind of see Esther still in her room and uh yeah, it'll be pretty much that's probably the start of it, her fuming in her room. So I have a question. Like, are we like, is it like apartment building or two houses next to each other?
I think it's a bit more like an apartment building, or it's like one of the ones that's like it's an apartment building, but it was like a big house that they cut into apartment buildings.
Yeah, so they would have like on my street for those who have been to my house, the corner it was technically is an apartment building and basically each uh everybody had their own room, so it was more of like a boarding house situation, but that's what they considered apartment buildings. But there are like the house I'm living in was an old 2-story Victorian originally that got broken into in the 60s, 70s into 5 illegal apartments. So it can be either or. It could be like a 2-story Victorian house, or it could be something similar to your background, JP, where it's like a bigger like Victorian type house that was made into, yeah, into different like little apartment,
Like
housing.
7 apartments, 1 bathroom.
Yeah, like a common kitchen and everything.
Because if it's the ones that kind of like the Victorian, like, and they have like the little patio thing happening.
Yeah, it's up to you if
Yeah,
you
I
want to
feel
have
like-
it like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if y'all next door, I figure there's 2 patio things that are next to each other. So she's probably filming and like trying to think of why she didn't get invited. So I think I'm like, I hear, because I'm assuming the walls are kind of thin, like I could hear muffled, but I know that both of them are over there. So I'm like, I can't believe that Minnie did not invite me over, and Matty and Mark are over there. They probably not having fun either, because Matty is probably gonna be talking their ear off, and Mark is gonna be tearing something apart.
Matty is
So-
sitting on the other balcony.
Oh no, for sure. The worst hangover. And it's finally like, it's too stuffy in here because like I think like the coffee machine works perfectly, but it does extra like steam and everything and clouds and it's like it's too hot in here. So I think like as you're fuming, Maddie's just stumbling out looking like death warmed over onto the patio and it's just like does not notice you yet because they're like full headache and weak queasy and everything.
And then I think if I see Maddie comes out, oh, here comes the little prince now. What's wrong, little prince? You seem like death kneeled over.
Why are you shouting at me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this too
Ow!
loud for you?
And he just collapses on the floor like over dramatically, you know. This is what punishment is, isn't it? Is this the yardstick thing that Mark was talking about?
Yardstick thing? No, I don't think so. Yardstick thing's a whole different thing. It's certainly not what looks like you got a bad headache.
Headache, body ache, stomach ache. There's kind of 1.5 of you now.
Now wait, hold on. What do you mean 1.5 for me? What's
Like,
wrong with you?
I had a lot of champagne yesterday, and apparently I'm not supposed to.
Champagne?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think you had it in you, Matty.
Well, and he kind of like does like I guess like in the baseball episode, kind of does the shoulder crawl towards you because like no, it's too heavy to stand on. Like you know, gravity's weighing on me and everything. It's kind of looking up at you like, well, all the cool kids were doing it, and then I wanted to go see you where you were doing all the acrobatics, but I was scared, and I thought maybe if I had some champagne, I would have strength to see you and play.
Strength to see me. Scared? Well, let's just say my fun was cut short because of your mama.
My mama was around? Of course she was
Yeah,
around.
she was. And she was proper irritated with me.
I'm sorry. I've only ever seen her mad at Daddy.
Now, well, she was mad at me. So apparently, jumping off stuff would get you tetanus.
What's tetanus?
I don't know. She didn't explain it, but she said if you get poked with stuff. In fact, let's do an experiment. See if you get tetanus if I poke you with something.
Okay.
You want to? Are you brave, Maddie?
I think so.
Okay, let's see. What do we got around here that we can do some poking with? I tried to poke my finger. She said that wouldn't work. So, hold on.
I think he kind of
I think
crawls
I go
up
in.
to like lean on the railing a bit, like waiting for you.
I think I get like maybe like a spoon or a fork. I'm like, well, this is the only thing I can think of to poke. Okay, hold down your arm.
And he does, like very limply, like it's so heavy.
What's the deal
Wow,
if you want
okay.
to
And
add a character? You spend a what token?
You can spend a resolve token. If it doesn't seem like they would be there, but since technically, like, we can just agree on that, like, yeah, you're in that place, so you can just come in when you want.
Well, I was gonna say it's the balcony, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna add Roy down on the street, and he's gonna yell, "You kids are too young to talk about poking each other."
Yeah, if it's just like an aside like that, you don't have to spend the token. But like, if you want him
Okay,
fully in the
yeah.
scene, then yeah.
I think he's just walking by. He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you kids are too young to talk about poking each other."
I think look down.
If Minnie hears that, you're gonna hear Minnie in the background going, "Hi."
I think I looked down. I was like, I'm just trying to see if he gonna get tetanus or not.
What? Go to sleep. Stop. Whatever you're doing, just stop.
Well,
What
Roy,
are they teaching the kids in schools these
asked for
days?
Just
I think I
poking
looked down. I was like,
already.
Roy, no. Okay, hold on. Hold your britches, man. So still poking. I'm like, do you think you got tetanus yet?
No. What are the symptoms?
Well, your jaw can't open. Well, since you're still speaking, I guess you don't have it yet.
Well, maybe I'm immune. Like, I'm immune to punishment. Oh, this feels like a punishment. But no one gave me this punishment. I gave myself this punishment. Did I give myself this?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is Roy still down there?
No, I think he was either heading home or just heading to see his friend.
Well, I don't know how to do it. So, I mean, so she pokes herself a little bit with the fork. I don't think I'm getting it either because she said you get lockjaw. So, and my jaw ain't locked up yet.
No, but you have furrows in your brows. Why are you mad? Because you got caught by Mama? I'll sweet talk her.
Ugh. I'm not concerned about your mama. She didn't tell my parents, so she wasn't that mad. But anyway, how come you got invited over there, not me?
I got dragged here. Because,
Oh, you.
yeah. Eula May was yelling at us, and because I wasn't supposed to have the champagne, and Mark wasn't supposed to help me with, I don't remember. He kept pinching me a lot. He's mean. I didn't want to sleep with him last night. Then he was making all noises, banging on some metal thing.
He was banging around a metal thing.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Something. I think he was fixing the coffee machine. I don't know. I just wanted
Is he
to
still
sleep.
trying to fix it?
No, he fixed it. It makes a lot of steam, so now there's some steam coffee.
Ooh, I want to see. And you just see you just see Esther just like pretty much just like a little cat just like kind of tumble over on their side of them.
And And Maddie tries to help you, but they're still very out of it. So it's like stumbling with you, but like you probably would have done better on your own with Maddie helping.
Right. Now, don't try to help me. You're making it worse. All right, where's this coffee maker? I want to see all the steam.
And as soon as he opens the door, like to go back inside, like a puff of steam comes out. Probably. It's like the
Ooh,
fog is
wow.
in the
It's mighty.
inside.
It's hot up in here. No wonder. I wonder.
I think that might be a good place to
Yeah.
with Esther still being as impulsive as always.
It's the climbing over the balcony that got me. It's like, oh, there's steam.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very kid thing.
Newfangled steam.
Exactly. Before we get to me, Rosemarie, what kind of bosom enemy scene do you think you're having?
I think she had a negative bosom enemy scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because she gets caught, of course, with the book because she's oblivious, not paying attention, and then she won't stop thinking about the book. She just really wanted to get the book. And I'm kind of mind when she had it, she memorized a few, maybe a couple of lines,
Mm-hmm.
That's when she went home, later. That's when she found Mom's French dictionary and she looked it up, translated, and when she got that translation, she became even more determined to get that book again. She's gonna find that book.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. She's still technically staying oblivious, but she's also gaining knowledge, so it's interesting. But yeah, it's not having the right. It's not being like, oh, this is why I shouldn't look at it. It's more of like, oh, this is why I shouldn't, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm already older. I'm older than
Exactly. Okay, yeah. Then I think. Yeah, I think I'll do a vignette with Maddie, in the sense that like once Maddie does get home, he is a little bit in better condition, and I'm pretty sure like May had let the Diaz's know like Maddie's staying over with Mark and all that, so they're not worried. But it's more like that Maddie didn't necessarily think of like, oh yeah, that was a punishment, but I feel better now, so everything's fine now, and I'm home, and oh, I have like a big thing of breakfast because parents like they love me and everything, and I think like what is I think like his mother is very much like, all right, um as much as like she does dotes on him, she's very much like, I'm going to need more help um with the shop and everything, and so you're going to need to be more doing that. And he's like, well, I don't wanna, like, definitely being very spoiled rich kid, in the sense of like, I don't want to I just want to work whenever I feel like it. And she's like, no, we need to have a schedule for it now. And I think like for once, because it's his mother, because he didn't get in trouble, it's like, okay, karma. Maybe if I agree to this, then she'll forget about it in a little bit, like in a week or so, and then I can go back to doing things like before. But yes, I will be a good worker at the tamale shop, and not realizing that he does like making tamales, because it's very like, when you get into the rhythm of it, it's very fun. Like scooping the masa and then making the hole and then putting all the things and then wrapping it up and everything. And he likes that. It's like it's a fun little thing. So yeah, even though he agreed because of the frivolity, he's also accidentally getting serious about it. It's like, okay, I'll do this because that's one way you trick your child. It's like, oh yeah, this looks fun. It's a chore though, kind of thing. So yeah, so I think that's his bosom enemy scene is basically him realizing, like, thinking he can do a bit of both and it working. So I want to give him both a positive and negative for that, because he did it for the wrong reasons, but it is actually working.
Uh-huh. Oh, next is epistolary.
Yep. So while I write this down, again, epistolary is, it can be a book report, a homework assignment, a fake news article. Maybe you wrote up a play. Maybe you wrote a new game. It could be a journal entry, or it could be. Hold on.
Okay.
Or you can actually
Yes.
write letters to each other.
Um, so how do you determine if, like, for your bosom enemy, if it was more positive or negative? Like, if it's like, if you lean in too much into it, or
If
like,
you don't think like your characters realized that this is wrong, and it could still be like, this is wrong, but I'm still going to do it anyways, but if they acknowledge it, then that's like a positive, or that they're going to think, maybe next time I'll do better. I don't think, like, for example, Esther has not realized that all this impulsivity is bad. But that's my
okay.
interpretation. But if you think she has in some bit, then it could be maybe she does both.
No. Like, whatever comes out her mouth is what's coming out her mouth. So, like, especially the whole thing with Mama Diez, she just said the first thing that came out she thought of. So, okay, cool.
What does Minnie want to do for her epistolary?
And I did make a thread in the Nerdgasm Noir channel, where we do have, for anybody who wants to join it, we do have a Reclaimers channel. But yeah, there's a thread there now to jump your letters in, so that way we have like reference to it and everything.
Oh, I don't know if I added my last letter to it. I should.
I legit don't remember what my second letter last time was, because it's like I summarized it instead of writing it down. So I'm like, I'll get to that eventually.
Mhm. Okay, I think I know what one of the things Esther did is. Not Esther. That's JP's character. I'm a different person. I think I know what one of the things that Minnie did. So I think what Minnie did was she didn't want to look up how babies are made because she figured she was going to get in trouble. But what she did do was she went and probably like she writes a letter to Dr. Marsh to basically ask Dr. Marsh about poison ivy and poison plants and like what they do, and like it's almost incriminating. Like if somebody gets poisoned around her in the next, I don't know, 6 months, she's definitely suspect number one, but she's not looking for the information to hurt somebody. She's actually just looking for it to find out more about the poisonous plants so that she can hopefully not run into a poisonous plant again.
I think this is probably one of those games that, like, as you get more experience with the flow of things, it becomes easier as players to click onto what you want to angle scenes towards. But like kind of not
Yeah.
having that initially makes it a little harder. And that's not a criticism, that's just a observation of how this system works.
Yeah, it's also there's not very many games where you're playing as children either. So like getting into that headspace, like even with Laser Kittens, which was a very simple system, it took us a minute to get into that kitten mentality and everything, and such. So yeah, it definitely like I love being children because I think the way it defines our adult characters. But definitely the first few times I play as children, I'm always like, wait, what do I want from this? Because you don't want to think about your adult self yet because you're not an adult and things can change during the passage of the time. Like there's been a couple of times where the trajectory I thought for my character went a completely different way. So, but yeah. And if anyone has any questions in chat, feel free to ask while we're doing the not very actual stream entertaining part of thinking of letters.
Should we just read them when we got things done, or what's the
Yeah, that's always a good way to do it.
okay? I did a journal entry. Maddie drank some of the champagne and got sick. Maybe it's because the machine was broken. I know if you cook food wrong, people get sick. So I stayed up at Minnie Mae's house and I ended up learning a lot about coffee percolators. But also that people don't like you fixing their machines without asking. Very confused about babies. Still sounds like the influenza. Not everyone's getting babies when they want, or they're getting babies when they don't want. Seems complicated.
Okay, I also did a journal entry. Uh, I found the most fascinating book at the party, but Roy took it from me before I could remember much of it. But I did start my French lessons early. Once I start with the French tutor, I'll find the book again. In the meantime, I should see if Roy got his poison ivy treated.
Um, so this is before the scene where before she talked to Maddie on the porch. So because she was fuming, but she was writing in her journal. So technically it's a letter, but it's also a journal because she's mad. So it's a letter to Minnie Mae. So she's like, "Dear Minnie Mae, I don't know if you don't like me no more, but why ain't get to be over at the sleepover?" Maddie said, "Oh no, I forgot I changed that. Never mind. Never mind. This is after the scene." Um, Maddie said, "You the man came and got him a mark, so I guess I just gotta be fine with not being your good friend, you big old butthead."
You can also respond to letters, by the way, and they don't have. And I'm going to really. They don't have to be part of your 2-letter max.
Oh no, my second letter is definitely gonna be a response.
Right now, I'm just trying to find some slang from the 1880s that would work here. I know more 1920s slang than 1880s.
Okay, I finished my second letter. And this one is to Mark. Hiya, Mark. I saw all the steam coming out of that coffee perk. It was really cool. What else can you make get a whole bunch of steam? I think it'll be mighty fine way to make fall for a play or something. I'll be fine with finding you all the parts you need, and we can make a whole production. The junkyard behind the construction site got a whole lot of good stuff.
It's kind of funny that I figured you were getting a note in return. It would have been it would have been simultaneously. It wouldn't have been like he read yours, but it's like he had a note. Esther, Matty said after hearing he got sick, you were testing people for tetanus. I didn't know you want to be a doctor. You're so multi-talented. I'm jealous.
Wait, hold on, hold on. I uh
I just love this idea that every time we get a game of telephone between this small group, everyone misunderstands it.
I hope this can be done. So shit, what is my character's name? Rosemarie. She started writing a short story. She figured out Venus actually can be a name, and so she's actually writing about someone named Venus with her furs in Paris, what she imagines Paris to be like. Because now she's kind of obsessed with French stuff. And she's actually doing this because she wants to, because you know how people will hold, like salons or,
Mhm.
parlors, stuff like that. And next time her parents have one, she's planning on reading it there.
Yeah.
So
In the first playtest, my character wanted to be a writer, so yeah, I wrote short stories. Oh my god, Chris, why? Why are you like this?
All
Oh
right,
my God.
I got my second letter. I'm ignoring chat. So my second letter is to Esther. So it says, Dear Esther, sleepover? We didn't have a sleepover. Well, not really. I had to go home and stay in bed most of the time because I got poison and my arms are all itchy. Then I worried that I might end up with babies because of the poison, but Eula says that's not that how that happens. I did invite Matty and Mark over. Eula did, I guess, to keep them out of trouble. Also, why didn't you just come over? You live right next door and you come over all the time, even when you haven't been invited. In fact, you mostly come over when you aren't invited. So that's never stopped you before. In fact, you came over uninvited to give me this letter. Anyway, you can't come over now anyway, because you might get poisoned. But I'll let you know when I'm better.
That's adorable. Esther's going to be very popular because my first letter is to Esther also. So,
okay.
So
Let's
left,
hear it.
yeah, left on Esther's patio with a small plate of tamales. Inside, the red pepper sliver is shaped as a heart. Dear Esther, I don't know if it's the leftover champagne in me, though it's been a week now, but I still think it gave me enough of that liquid courage I hear some of Papa's dock workers talk about. But did I ever tell you why I liked trains? It's because a train brought you to me. I'm all to pieces
Oh.
liking you, and I might not be as outdoorsy as you, but I think you're wonderful and inspiring. Matthias.
That's cute.
It's adorable. Too bad Esther is in love with Jesse. I don't
We'll see
think
what
Esther is
happens
going to
in
know
10
how to
years.
respond. Huh?
We'll see what happens in 10 years.
Right, right. I don't think Esther knows how to respond to that. She's just going to look at the letter and she's like, oh, this is the actual letter you gave me, or is it like in your journal?
You're muted.
Oh, you're on mute.
This is a letter left on the top of a plate of tamales that have the heart inside of it.
Oh, okay.
On your on your
Okay.
patio.
Tamale is shaped in a heart.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to add PS if you eat tamales that means you agree, but I didn't. You thought it.
Oh, good, because probably the first thing she did was ate the tamales. Like
Before she
the
even
letter,
read the
she
letter.
probably would have threw the letter and just started grubbing on the tamales.
And I still have a second letter or epistolary to do, and I'm thinking what I want.
It is a little funny with all these kids giving each other notes. Like, I could also see how this could easily be transposed into the modern age and it all becomes like texts or like social media to each other.
Or even just pass notes in class.
Yeah.
Passing notes in class was always fun.
This could be a fun way, like we talk about mixing games. Like, you mix this with kids on brooms.
Ooh, because one of the things you could do is you could make spells.
Right, you can make spells, but I'm also thinking of like the passing notes or having your familiar deliver a message and weird magic stuff.
Ooh, now I have a new idea.
I think one of the hacks that was made, because this game has been in playtests for like almost 4 years, is someone did a magical version. I don't know if they've posted. I don't remember, and I don't think Neko's in chat at the moment. If they posted that hack, but I absolutely forget what they called that one. But yeah, it's definitely been done, and I think it could easily be with kids with brooms. And yeah, this is just it. It's such a fun one to like hack with. I think again,
It's got fun mechanics that you can easily put into other games.
Yeah, for sure.
You say we can respond to people's letters as well, right? And that won't count.
Yeah, I the facilitator. I'm like, all the letters, please. If you want, I will say though, if you wanted to get a letter from, like, let's say you wanted to get a letter from Jesse, then you would have to spend a token to ask for me to write a letter to you, for example.
Ooh.
But if you just want, and you can always write as your connection too.
So, random question, Diana, is that when you were playtesting this, how long were your sessions usually?
Ooh.
Initially, like, and then that changed over the course of the story brews. Initially they were 4 hours a session, with about 5-6 sessions. Now most games are about 3 hours, and I think it's in the book. The way to ensure that we get each part done is it's a recommended 6 to 7 sessions at roughly 3 hours each. So
okay.
I was mostly just curious about how this writing section, if would be at the end of a session or if it's designed to break up in the middle of sessions like we.
It generally tends to break up in the middle of sessions. Sometimes it comes at the end. Sometimes it comes at the beginning of the next session. With online games, if you're doing it through Discord, there's usually like 24/7 epistolary channel. So then like you could always just do extra ones there. And I think they actually incorporated it in the core book now, for those variances, because especially during passage of time, um, wanting to have those extra letters and everything. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's just because it's such an interesting pause in play.
Hmm.
And so I was like, huh, is it designed to happen at the end or the beginning, or is it designed to also land in the middle? And it's just
Yeah.
like an interesting sort of pause, introspect, reset, right?
Yeah. With regular Good Society, the epistolary tends to be just letters. They're depending on, like, if you're playing Emma, then there's like the weather vignettes, which do get added on once we become adults. So that one's derived from the Emma version. But yeah, usually it's just straight up epistolary. It organically became where people were doing like, journal entries. I've mentioned it before. I'm always the queen of unsent letters that are very angsty because they never get sent. But then you can always pay a token for that letter to somehow get into the right or wrong hands or
Okay.
intercept and such. So there's always that possibility.
Yeah, because that, like, my brain is just going through all the possibilities. Like, we could totally mix it with Passion de la Passiones. We could, have fun stuff with Universalis. Like, it's just interesting.
Yeah. All right, my second letter is to Rosemarie. Because we're neighbors, and after all. Dear Rosemarie, I see you're always reading sophisticated books. Have you read any about wooing girls? I might need some help. Can I come over and get some help? Matty.
Help that poor young man. Even though he's a year older than you.
Like,
Right.
technically, Matty's not a book reader. He likes books, but he's not to the level that Rosemarie is.
Well, as soon as she finishes this French book, she's gonna have something for him. But she's got to finish the Sapphic Dracula one too. That's in German, I think.
Yeah. All right. Has everybody done 2 letters?
Yep.
Okay. Obviously we don't get a chance to get to the last novel chapter before, again, bosom enemy and everything, but we can set up, and then if you do think of any extra letters you want to like come up with, we can always do them at the top of the hour next week. But let's decide, since we have the time, what kind of novel chapter do we want for our final children's novel chapter? Do you want it to be an event, or a series of visitations?
We did event last time, right?
Yeah. For
Let's
the
try
intro,
series.
yeah. For the intro was technically event. We did technically a split-ish for the novel guidance with the whole like getting in trouble at the gardens and everything.
I think series of visits would be a good one to try this last one.
Okay. Um.
I do
So,
kind of want to see these kids' home life a little more.
okay. So let's come up with scene ideas. What kind of scenes at least one scene from everybody, and then we could obviously do more than one scene next week and everything. But what kind of scenes do you want to see in these visitations, like at the home life and everything?
I kind of want to see how these kids hang out normally, right? A little more of that, like how they hang out. I mean, obviously they clearly have some routines of how they hang out, and so I kind of want to see a little more of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the unsupervised but not necessarily in trouble antics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like since Esther and Minnie Mae live next to each other, like I would assume Esther's parents, knowing that Eula May is the main guardian for Minnie, will probably like do a lot of stuff to like help her out and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I feel like maybe it's one of these days, like they take turns making dinner for both everybody.
Okay.
So maybe like yeah, maybe like this time is like my parents' turn to make dinner for everybody.
Mhm. I like that.
So Esther and the Smiths dinner scene. Okay.
How do we interact with Rosemarie? Like, do we go bother Rosemarie at her house?
Yeah, so there hasn't been, as far as I can tell, a lot of interaction with Rosemary. That tends to happen with the bookworm. Um, so yeah, just
Or is it that Rosemary comes over to the print shop to read random stuff that we're printing?
Because I was,
Ooh,
because I was thinking about something like maybe there's like shopping or something in
shopping
between too.
montage.
Yeah. Or like, I feel like Rosemary is a type of kid who like literally reads anywhere. Like she would
Mhm.
literally just stop someplace and just start reading. Like,
yeah, that was me as a kid.
Yeah.
Linda,
so
do
I
you want
think like,
a shopping scene?
oh yeah.
Just double checking or not?
I'm sorry. Shopping montage and a stick of butter.
Stick up other.
Or is that what you want, JP, a shopping scene? Also.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you asked me.
Or did you want the shopping montage, JP? Or did that?
I
Is
think
my
the shopping
character?
montage. I think the shopping montage would be a good idea, but
Mhm.
I feel like that's more of a Maddie thing.
Well,
Like
a
it's a
fun
we're going shopping with Maddie, and Maddie's like, "Oh, look at all these things," and the rest of us are like, what?"
I mean, a fun thing that happens with the shopping montage is we can start pulling up some historical San Francisco stuff.
Oh, that's true.
That could be kind of fun. We could introduce the infamous Banana Peel Street in Chinatown.
Banana Peel Street?
Historically, so before we had good sanitation, apparently Chinese people really love bananas. And they ate so many bananas, this one street was completely coated with banana peels. And then the whole thing of people
Oh,
slipping and falling was because you had about 2 inches of banana peels grossly rotting and just, yeah.
Oh my
it
gosh.
was a living cartoon character.
Of
Oh
course,
wow.
you go a different part of San Francisco, you had streets where you had littered with thrown out shirts
Yeah.
because miners didn't want to wash their own shirts.
Ah, nice. Okay. The banana peels make sense.
Because it's actually something that you're like discarding as opposed to like the clothes you're wearing.
Yeah.
Maybe they was just trying to avoid catching babies. You don't know.
You never know. You know how babies are caught.
I has regrets.
Dee, did you have any specific scene you wanted to see for next week?
Oh, I don't know. I think I honestly, because Minnie Mae is the oldest out of all of them, I think I want to see Minnie Mae. I think I want to see Minnie Mae actually trying to interact with the older kids, with like Roy and Eula and Jesse.
Okay.
Because she's at like this weird part of her life where like she's older now and like she's thinking like she's already doing sort of odd jobs and yada yada yada. So I think, yeah, that's my idea.
Yeah, I like that. If we can, I'm looking at like the details we have about our neighborhood. Um,
Bicycle Willie and the
yeah.
and the King of San Francisco,
Oh yeah, the emperor.
the Emperor of San Francisco,
Yeah.
and Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Also the haunted tunnels, maybe if we can squeeze it in. Yeah. And anything specific with Rosemary beside what we've mentioned so far?
All I could think of was the shopping.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty then. So next week we'll do novel, bosom enemy. Passage of time is probably going to take the longest. So yeah, we probably won't get the proper transition to adulthood until the session after that. But
So like transfer of time is basically us doing like a second, like session 0, where we're setting up where we're at now that we're older.
yeah, sort of. Hold on one second. Yeah, so passage of time is where we do like one scene and one vignette. Because I think we agreed on 10 years within the 10 years, and you can go back and forth. None of us have to go in a lineage of that. Yeah, so we decide on a length. We take turns having a scene or vignette, and then you can write up to 3 letters during that time, whether or not you've kept up with people and such. And so that usually, yeah, and then it's technically the section that says transition to adulthood is technically the session 0 too. This is where it gets a little finicky because you're doing the passage of time before you necessarily decide on what character role you're going to have, what new relationships get updated, what desire you get. Because again, passage of time kind of defines what happens. Like, do you leave and not come back in those 10 years, or like did anybody stay and like experience like the snow that happens? And I think there was a mini earthquake during this time period also, and all that. So yeah, so transition to adulthood is technically another session 0-esque, and the passage of time is like building up. It's the backstory to that session 0 essentially, and everything. But once again, if anybody has any questions in chat, we are now going to do stars and wishes.
Well,
yes,
my star is Esther fuming because she wasn't invited to the punishment sleepover.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like, it's an excellent point.
I can't choose. I have stars for everybody. This was just so hilarious. Drunk Matty, Minnie Mae, Minnie Mae and Mark's conversation. They don't know
trying to figure out how babies happen.
And Eula May. Eula May tried to tell.
Oh, you poor dummies.
He is asking all them questions.
Yeah, I have to second. Yeah, I have to second that. You okay? Can you need a minute before we go? She gone. She gone.
We lost her.
But I just like, oh my God, wait. They just came up with the where babies come from. I was like,
we don't know.
Oh my God, I'm
I got Mark as a non-neurotypical kid who fixates, right? So he's trying to understand, but he's like, he's only hearing parts. He's like, that don't sound right. Nothing's adding up.
Oh, I'm sad because that's probably how the teenagers sound to date.
Yeah.
Look, when I heard that kids were drinking or were trying to drink yellow number 5 as a contraceptive, I knew the country was in a bad place. Like,
oh boy.
No. Oh, please let your children go to sex ed, please. Please. Them not knowing does not help them at all.
Nope.
As all.
My star is Mark's commitment to being a perfectionist. I'm curious on how this is going to translate to adulthood.
Therapy was not available back then. Like, this is not. You're gonna have to figure out some coping mechanisms.
And also Eula May, just trying to be an adult amongst these kids. I loved it. Oh, and finally, what the doctor going, come back when you're pregnant. Just threw me.
Thank you, because that was my star. The doctor just nonchalantly come back when you having a baby. Like, what?
It was the gift that kept on giving.
Yeah.
That and like another star to Rosemarie just fixed the thing on this book and just like I'm an adult, I can read the book.
Also star for Roy being like, what the heck is wrong with these kids? Why are you reading this book? What are you children talking about? Everybody go to bed.
They're trying to give each other tetanus. What the hell?
In the meantime, he's running around with poison ivy.
Awesome. What are people's wishes? My wish is for Maddie to find out Esther's response.
Ooh.
If she gives a response.
And some San Francisco exploring if we can manage it as kids.
I would like to see the interaction of the older kids together talking about these kids. But I feel like hopefully that will come in more when Minnie is going to I would like to see their dynamic outside of trying to keep these kids from
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris?
I kind of want to see Rosemarie's like book knowledge come out specifically at some point, because clearly you're reading way above your what would be your grade level, right? Like, back then you might have been educated enough to already be a teacher. So I'm kind of curious as to like what, when that kind of stuff will pop out.
Yeah, makes sense.
I want to see Rosemarie's reaction to finally understanding this book that Roy took away from her.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't have to be like where they all meet each other, but I want them to at some point to have seen Jesse perform.
Ooh.
And they can like talk about it or something like that. It doesn't have to be like the actual performance, but they're all aware of a performance of Jesse's, and they kind of have some reactions to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Because I feel like Esther is continuously trying to sneak in to see the show.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Esther on the wall inside of the theater. Like, please don't let this child in.
Yeah. You do have resolve tokens to make that happen. Don't forget. That's what they're there for.
True.
All right. Yeah. So that was a session of the Reclaimers playing Castles in the Air, the San Francisco homebrew edition. If you haven't already checked out the Kickstarter, please do. Let me double check and see, because we did get like a couple $100 while we were playing. Let me see because we were like 150 Australian dollars away from the thing. Yeah, we're still 150 Australian dollars away from the 50,000 Australian dollar goal, and there's still more stretch goals to come. I want to see the Firebrand as a child. I think if we had that in this game, one of y'all would just be wild as a Firebrand child. I could already tell. And I'm curious to see what their other stretch goals are. They're still I just was on the page and I already forgotten. Good Lord. There's still 12 more days to go, so please go check it out. They do have a digital version. They also have, if you don't have the financial means, they do have a financial means digital pledge to use to help out, which would be fantastic. They don't use backer kits, so it's not like other Kickstarters where you can spend $1 and then get into like the pledging after the math. It's like it's only through Kickstarter. So best to try to get the best deal would be doing that. I think that is everything. I think we're good for next week, right?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Should be.
It was fun, everybody. Have a good night and have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.